Hi there, Mr. Chen again. Just going to teach you about workstation care and maintenance. So, well, if you're wondering what workstation is, that's really just like your computer in front of you, your keyboard, your printer, um, your mouse, the desk in front of you. You know, everything that's like in your general area that you use when you're working on the computer, that's your workstation. So I'm going to be teaching you basically how to take care of this space, and to maintain it. So the most important thing when you're kind of working at a workstation is if something goes wrong, if something is missing, or if you see some like wires that are broken and you see like metal kind of poking out of plug sockets, or like this thing here is a plug socket, like metal kind of coming out, or like it's broken at the wall. If anything kind of looks like it's broken with metal kind of sticking out, whatever you do, do not touch it. Turn it off immediately at the wall. That should be your first move, and then you want to call IT support. Um, you want to replace this as soon as possible, and you don't want to be using it when this kind of thing happens. You got to wait for it to be repaired. I've had that happen to me when I was 14 years old, probably around your age. I accidentally touched a wire. It's not fun. It's really, and it feels like nothing you've ever experienced. It's yeah. Whatever you do, do not do it. It's very painful, very very not worth it. Um, and yeah, okay. So, but most important, the whole point of this thing is to obviously to work make sure that you maintain your workspace and stuff like that so that you can actually work without any hassle, like things aren't in your way, and you feel comfortable. But also, we want you to be independent. We want to give you all of the solutions. Like if you have something broken in front of you, or you need to replace the ink in your printer's not working, all of these situations, this US 101 thing, this unit standard, is trying to teach you how to deal with every single one of these problems so that you don't have to come running to me immediately. You can try to find all the solutions yourself. I mean, at some point, sometimes you're going to have to, like, if something needs to be replaced, you're gonna have to tell someone, but there's a bunch of steps you need to do before you get there anyway. Maybe it's just because maybe the thing isn't working just because you haven't plugged it in, or you haven't, or you just need to restart the computer. So the last thing we want is you to run into some kind of issue with your computer, and then your IT support will turn up and just turn off and on your computer, and then it's working. Like that's really it's embarrassing, but it's also just like no one people don't want to. Yeah, you'll start to annoy your IT support person, and the last person you want to annoy is that person. Um, so how do we read a flowchart? So these are these things right here. They're basically telling you, it looks complicated. Don't worry, it's really not. It's very simple to read. I'm gonna explain it in a second, but basically these are just like scenarios. Like if your keyboard, your mouse, or your monitor isn't working, you work through this flowchart in order to figure out what to do. Same for this. If your workspace is covered in like dirt or like trash or anything like that, this is all the steps you need to do in order to make sure that in order to clean your computer. Same for this. This is for if your printer has run out of ink. So if we were to take this issue, at this problem, if your keyboard, mouse, or monitor is working, if it isn't working, you follow this arrow down to here. It says inspect for any faults. If there is any, if you find any faults, like kind of like this, like wires kind of exposed or some kind of problem that's obvious, like physical damage, then you want to go down yes, and basically you report fault. So you tell your manager or your IT support person. In my case, in our classroom, you just tell me, the teacher. If there isn't any faults, then you go down this arrow that says no, and it says check if it is plugged in. So if you checked if it is plugged in and it isn't, and you plug it in and it works, then we stop here. But if it is plugged in, then we continue with the arrow. Turn off and on the monitor or unplug and plug the mouse keyboard. Did it work? So if that did work, you finished. If it didn't, we go down no here. Replace the monitor, keyboard, mouse, and see if it works. If it doesn't, then you report to IT or manager. In our case, it would be me, the teacher. So, yep, it should be clear how this kind of works, right? Um, so I want you to kind of look through these ones and kind of figure them out. And then in the same kind of like Google Classroom post, you should see a worksheet. So you're going to go through that worksheet and submit it. So if I was to go to us right here, it would be this one here. So you put your name in here, and then then you're gonna submit this to US 101 worksheets, which is this one here. Okay, thanks for listening. Off you go.